start with the pistil with the yellow yarn. So we do a magic ring. You make 1 chain stitch. Now in the ring we're gonna make 10 single stitches. Pull the yarn to close the loop. Now we do a slip stitch into the first stitch, but in this row we're going to do the front loops only. So do a slip stitch into the front loops, and then put a marker on the back loop of that first stitch. Okay, so in this row we do the front loops only. We chain 7, and then you slip stitch into the first stitch. Skip one loop and slip stitch into the next one. And do 7 change, and then slip stitch into the same stitch. Again, skip one and slip into the next stitch, the next front loops. Do 7 change. You repeat it to the end of the rows, and we will have 5. Now you find the back loop where you put the marker, and you're going to slip stitch into that back loop. Now the second row we were working on the back loops. Do 1 chain, and we will do 10 single stitches increase in the back loops. 1 increase. We finished 10 single stitches increase, and now you slip into the front loops of the first stitch, and then mark the back loops. Okay, we're making the second row of the pistil. So from here, chain 8. And slip into the same stitch. Again, skip 1 loop and slip into the next front loop and do 8 chain. And slip into the same front loops. So repeat this process 10 times, so you have 10 pistil for the second layer. Okay, I finished 10 times of the pattern. So for the last one, you do a slip stitch, and you can cut off the yellow yarn now. Finish the pistil. Pull the yarn. Now change to your main color. We will start from this marker on the back loops. Remove the marker and make a knot first. And then do one chain stitch. We won't do 20 single stitches around the back loops of the previous row. Do 20. And you can hide the yarn. Okay, when you have 20 stitches, do a slip stitch into the front loops of the first stitch. Front loops only. And then put a marker on the back loops. Okay, so from here we will start the first layer of the flowers. So there will be 5 petals on the first layer, and each petal will work across 4 stitches. So we'll start with 17. Okay. So we'll be working on the vertical bar of the chain stitch. So you see the little bump at the back here, we'll be working on those bumps. So skip the first one and we work on the second vertical bar. And here we won't use the Afghan stitches too. So we'll do 4 double crochet Afghan stitch. So pull the yarn through the first 2 loops and leave it like this, and do another one. Pull the yarn through the first 2 loops, so 3, yeah. So that's 4 Afghan double crochet, and next you will do 1 Afghan single stitch, like this, and then we do one single stitch into the base. So do the front loops only on the next stitch and pull the yarn through. So you should have 7 strands of yarn on the hook. Now pull the yarn through 2 loops at a time until the end of the row. You finished row 1. But row 2, you do 2 chains and slip stitch into the second vertical bar. And then do 2 chains. And here, again, we will do Afghan stitches. We do 3 double crochet Afghan stitch. the 3 double crochet and then 2 single stitch, and then 1 single stitch into the next front loops, the next stitch front loop, then pull the yarn through loops. And you finish row 3. So for row 4, again 2 chain and slip stitch into the second vertical bar, 2 chain, and then here we will do we're not going to do Afghan stitch, we do normal stitch. So 3 double crochet, one half double crochet, 1 single stitch, and then slip into the next front loops. Okay, so you have worked 1, 2, 3, 4 stitches on the base, and each petal for this layer, each petal will have 2 little ridges. So repeat. To go to the next petal, you will do a slip stitch into the next stitch front loops. Remember this, for this row we only do the front loops, and now repeat row 2 to row 4 another 4 times, and you will have 5 petals. Okay, so the last petals, so you do slip stitch, okay, so you do 1 slip stitch into the back loops where we have the marker. Do 1 chain, and we're working on the back loops, and you do 3 single crochet, and 1 single crochet increase. So we repeat that 4 more times. So 3 single crochet, and then 1 single crochet increase. At the end of the row, you should have 25 stitches together. This will be the base for our second layer. Okay, and do a slip stitch into the front loops of the first stitch, and mark the back loops. Okay, so here before we start the second layer, do 3 slip stitch into the back loop, into the front, to the front loops. So the reason why we do it, because we want the second layer of petal to be staggered rather than straight behind the first layer. So do 3 on the front loops only. 1, 2, 3. So now you can start the second layer. So we start with chain 8, chain 8, and again we're going to work on the vertical bar of the chain from the second from the second bumps here. We will start doing the double crochet Afghan stitch. So 1, we will have 5 double crochet Afghan stitch. 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then 1 single crochet Afghan stitch. And then we do 1 single crochet into the front loops of the next stitch. So now you should have a strand of yarn on your hook, and you pull the yarn through 2 loops at a time. Here we do 2 chains. That finished up row 2. For row 3 we chain 2 and do a slip stitch into the second vertical bar, and chain 2 and do 4 double crochet Afghan stitch, and 2 single stitch, and last one 1 single stitch into the front loop of the next stick on the base. So again, you should have a strand of yarn on your hook. Pull the yarn through 2 loops at a time. Okay, repeat this row 1 more time. So chain 2, slip, chain 2, and do 4 double crochet in Afghan stitch, and 2 single stitch, and 1 single stitch into the next front loops. Okay, so here chain 2 again and slip, and chain 2. So this is the last row of this petal, and we will do normal stitch. We will do 4 double crochet, normal double crochet, 2, 3, 4, and then 1 half double crochet, then 1 single crochet, and then do a slip stitch into the next front loops on the base. So now you finish the first petal of the second layer. So this from the second layers, each petal will have, you will see there's 3 spikes like this in each petal. So to start the second petal, you need to do a slip stitch into the next front loops. Remember to do a slip stitch before you start. Okay, now repeat chain 8. Finish the last petal of the second layer. You do a slip stitch into the next front loops. Okay, so we will slip to the back stitch, to the back loops. We have the marker here, but we're going to move 3 stitch So just this one just right below the slip stitch. So we do one slip stitch and then chain one. We do one chain, and in this row we will do 5 increase. So we do one single stitch in that slip stitch, and we do 3 more. So 4 single crochet, and then the next one we do a single crochet increase. So the pattern is 4 single crochet and then 1 single crochet increase. At the end of the row you should have total of 30 stitches. So the last stitch will be a single crochet increase. So now you should have 30 stitches. Now do a slip stitch into the front loops. And before we make the third layers, again do 3 slip stitch into the front loops. 1, 2, the front loops only, 3. Okay, so this make sure that the third layer will be starker with the second layer. So now we can start the third layers. So from here we do 10 chains. Working from the second vertical bar on the chain, you do Afghan stitches, 6 double crochet, two single stitch, and then 1 single crochet into the next front loops on the base, and then pull the yarn through 2 loops. For row 2 we chain 2 and slip into the second vertical bar and chain 2, and we use Afghan stitch again. So 5 double crochet and 3 single crochet. Five single crochet, 5 double crochet, and then do 3 single crochet. 1, 2, 3, and then do 1 single crochet in the front loops of the next stitch on the base and pull it through. Do 2 chains, then 2 chain, and repeat that row. So 5 Afghan stitch, double crochet, and 3 Afghan single crochet. and then one single crochet into the front loops of the next stitch. Okay. Chain 2, slip stitch, chain 2, and now we do normal crochet stitches. So to finish this petal, so you do 5 normal double crochet, one half double crochet, 2 single crochet, and then do a slip stitch into the next stitch front loops. So now you finish the first petal of the third layer. You will see is set in the middle between the 2 petals of the second layer. So the way you do it is exactly the same with the second layer, except you make more chain. So to start the next one, make sure that you do a slip stitch into the next stitch front loops, and then again do 10 chains, and repeat round 2 to round 5 5 more times. So the difference is that in this third layer you will have 6 petals in total, and each petal you will work on 5 stitches. 1 2 3 4 5. So I'll see you when you finish all 6 petals of the third layer. Finish the last petal of the third layer. Now you're gonna slip stitch into the last stitch. Okay. So you can finish the peony with 3 layers like this. Otherwise, you can start doing the 4th layer. So from here, we will slip stitch into the back loops, do a slip stitch and chain 1, and we will do 1 single crochet in each back loop around. We don't make any increase. So at the end of the row you should have 30 stitch. Okay, now we have 30 stitches. Do a slip stitch in the front loops. So like the previous row, we do 3 slip stitch in the front loops, so you'll start like in the middle of the previous petals. Now we're gonna start to make the 4 layers. We will do 11 chains. Okay, 11 chain. So from the second vertical bar, we gonna do 7 Afghan double crochet, So 7 double crochet, then 2 Afghan single crochet, and then you do 1 Afghan single crochet into the next front loop. Now you should have 11 strands of yarn on your hook. Now pull the yarn through 2 loops at a time. Okay, for row 2, you will 2 chains, slip stitch, 2 chain, and then using the Afghan stitch, you're going to do 6 unfinished double crochet, and then 3 unfinished single crochet, and then 1 unfinished single crochet into the front loop of the next stitch, and pull the yarn over. Okay, again do 2 chains and slip into the second bump on the vertical bar and do 2 chain, and again using Afghan stitch, do 6 unfinished double crochet, and 3 unfinished single crochet, then 1 single crochet into the front loop of next stitch, two chain, slip stitch. Now is the last row, so we want to do normal stitches. Do 2 chain, and here you're going to do 6 normal double crochet. Six double crochet, and then 1 half double crochet, and then 2 single crochet, and then we're going to do a slip stitch into the front loop of the next stitch. Pull the yarn. So that's how you finish the petal of the last layer. So again, this layer will have 6 petals. To start the next one, we will do a slip stitch into the front loop of the next stitch, and repeat the pattern from row 2 to row 5. Now you finish the last petal of the last layer, and you can slip into the front loop of the last stitch. You can cut the yarn.